Won't you da 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 baby? Won't you guys? What is going on? Just checking in real quick. I wanted to make a bit of a deal because I'm on like Monaco Gold and like this whole project. I've been honing it down, just recording records like a mother trucker, and I've got this beautiful juicy project, and I'm like, do I put out the whole project or just a single? You know, because I got to Luther Coom coming out in like 3 days, and then I've got like four singles that need to come out, and then I've got Monaco Gold, and it's already been accepted to some playlist, which is crazy to me because I never thought something with my vocals would actually get on a playlist. And yeah, I'm still trying to release stuff and chat with y'all. You know, whoever's at least watching this on like let's see, old projects. So but that's just a quick check-in of where I'm at. But I want to talk about old projects. So let me find Broken Home. Boom! This old project. Yeah, I mean, obviously this is like years ago at this point, 2018. That's 7 years ago, which is crazy. And it was January 5th, 2018 when I put it out. I remember that date. Prestigious Productions. And yeah, so I want to chat about it some, talk about the project, what it was, what it stood for. Let's see. Look at me. This is years ago. Look at that chunky little monkey. But so this is the project Broken Home, and I just want to chat about it some. Talk about let's get out of all that stuff. Talk about Monaco Gold. Down the road, I will. I mean, it's such a fucking crazy progression from Broken Home to Monaco Gold. I mean, you're talking hundreds of songs, thousands of hours, productions, everything in between. But going way back to Broken Home, back in 2018, this was a project. This was like my first project where I was like, I'm gonna actually put my own vocals on a deal and my own productions and this was after I had put out like 16 beat tapes. They were terrible beats, or at least initially the first four or five were like pretty bad. And I was just sending them to people on the internet, just like some random rappers and producers and just random people. Like I had this huge email list that I was compiling and slowly sending music to, or at least, all these beat tapes to, trying to get people to listen to my music. And, and I couldn't get people to really rap on it. I had been a rapper before, but I was like not really good at it. I was like, you know what, let me try that again. Like, let me try to kind of rap and sing it again. And then long story short, my family at the time, and I know it's probably, I probably shouldn't have ever aired out family's dirty laundry and stuff, but family was going through a divorce right at that time, and it was really aggressive. It was just this terrible divorce, and the term broken home. I mean, it really described like where I was at, and God, but I did such a disjustice. You know what I mean? To like if I had to remake that project now, like it would be so much smoother and so much better. But I did like the initial bits of it. Maybe we can pull up Broken Home here. Just have an image to look at, right? Look at this, boom. So we'll pop that up, I suppose, just to have something to chat about. So this is the project, but I just remember the feeling that I had, like putting it out. I made like a website for it, and I was just so like what's the word? Just excited. There was just an energy in the air for myself, and I know it was very initial kind of recordings, but I loved it. It was such a interesting thing for me because I wasn't really like a musician professionally growing up. I wasn't at all. Like a lot of people were like, dude, why are you doing music? You kind of what I mean, you're wasting your time, all that stuff. And it was just this energy, that I was able to at least like put out some of this frustration and weirdness because my mom and dad, I love them to death, but they were fighting and just as any divorce situation would be, but started just getting weird. And and I love them to death, and I'm not trying to dog them out, especially now all these years later. They're both kind of my best friends, and this is now 7 years after the fact. But I just remember at the time just feeling so just hurt, alone. You know what I mean? Like, man, like you guys, I know you're going through your stick, but man, we're all kids still, man. We're all trying to figure out our lives, but in some of the problems too, I was particularly at this time, I was really angry at my pops, and as any 20 year old, outrageous unruly teenager kind of is. But as I grew up, I learned to very much appreciate the things that my pops has done because at this time I didn't realize the amount of weight that was on his shoulders and the amount of stress that raising a family required. Like I'm already like like I got a tiny boat company and got my son Waffles, my child, my sweet golden retriever, and he's already enough to handle, let alone having kids and this thing and that thing. So I didn't really have enough appreciation, I don't think, when I was this age, um, building this project. But I do like what I did by the end of the project. It was this whole introspective experience of me being like angry, pissed off, da 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 da. But then this whole like last moment, the last song, and I do this for a lot of my records. Like the last song on the project will always be like hopefully like something that ties in the whole thing, or like for most of my music, I sometimes save the best for last in the albums at least. But Broken Home, the last record was very much about me just like having empathy for my pops. Like, yo, wait, hold on. Like, I know you came from a fucked up situation. Like, and the amount of shit you've done from the situation you grew up in is fucking crazy. So it's like having that understanding to him. Like, man, you came from a broken home. Like how can I expect you to be this like perfect being when first of all like nobody at this time I didn't have that humility or awareness but I was like, man, like I at least had the understanding like, wait, he probably came from a broken home too, so why am I being such a dick, and like maybe he just needs someone to chat to, or like talk about these things that he was never able to figure out himself even. So I really liked that about this project. But pretty much the other things I liked was the production. I think the production was really, the vocals, like they just weren't there. Like if I play y'all bits of Monaco Gold, I just got this visualizer spun up here. Let me see. Verse Broken Home, like we're talking completely two different artists. So here's Monaco Gold. This is 7-8 years down the road. Looking like I made it, moving like I'm weightless. She said where you heading, told her somewhere space, wrist cold. Yeah, so that's juicy. And then we go to something like this. My home. Somehow still think it's all my fault, and I can't blame you. Not the worst. At least like the subject matter was like getting to where it needed to be, but there's definitely a certain sheen, professionalism, and polish that I've now grown to. Um, but you got to start somewhere, right? Like and yeah, but I think now if we maybe if I pull up a doc, right, Google Docs. Can't believe I'm doing this for music. This is great. But like production quality, I'd give it like a 7, like maybe 7.5. Vocals, I'm thinking like 5, 6 range. Like subject matter by the end of it, like I'd also give like a 7. Like but intention, right? Intention for first project, and like I give it out a 20 out of 10 because it's like, dude, I had to figure out all this shit. And this is back in the day when like AI wasn't a thing, right? For some of like the new people, you could just Google like, hey, how do I distribute music? And it tells you like, do this, do this, do this. Like you have to figure that shit out. And then, distributing, collecting royalties, figuring out licensing, all the publishing stuff. Like, man, like I'll give myself a 20, but maybe I'll drop these numbers to 5, subject matter 6.5, production 7. Yeah, that's probably more accurate about Broken Home. But production wise, like a 7 out of 10. I mean, that's kind of, that's kind of like half decent for a first project. You know what I mean? Like, but the reason why I allocate a 7 out of 10 is because it really wasn't my first production project. I had like 17 beat tapes before that I was just like trying to hand out to people that were just terrible. But man, I've got one of my old laptops. It'd be fun to pull up some of them beats, but yeah, so that's Broken Home. I still listen back to it every once in a while, and I'm like, this is just terrible. But, but, but I can appreciate the production concepts out of it for sure, because there was this attempt for our like artistic creativity on the production side that that honestly, I'm like, shout out to younger Ryan. I was like, if we do Broken Home, producer break, this was, let's see, boom, Broken Home, producer break. This, it's like not terrible. It's like some intro to the EDM stuff. Here, I'm gonna build and first drop, first drop.